You're listening to Health Professional Radio. My name is Wayne Bucklar and my guest today is Dr. Stewart Washer. Stuart, welcome to the program.
Thanks very much.
Now, Stuart, I have you here as the Executive Director of Zelda Therapeutics. Can you tell us what it is that Zelda Therapeutics do?
Yeah, sure. So we were formed a few years ago, really out of a Californian experience where 5 years of Californian patient data was taken with medicinal cannabis and showing very positive effects in a range of patients. But very little clinical data was out there. I'm a scientist, a stem cell scientist by training from a medical family, and we thought it was time to really run some proper clinical trials on some of this medicinal cannabis. So Zelda was formed to take all of this anecdotal evidence and run some clinical trials.
And how has that proceeded?
A very good way. So what we're looking at now is we're about to start an insomnia trial in Australia, and we're actually running some clinical trials in Chile as well. It's a very good health department and regulator over there. So we'll be running a trial in autism and eczema in Chile, which is some of the areas that we've seen the medicinal cannabis have very good effects. And we're doing preclinical work in cancer as well, which is exciting and created some very positive outcomes in the last few weeks.
One of the things that attracted my attention to you was an announcement about medical cannabis extracts being used against triple-negative breast cancer cells, and that is exciting news. Do you want to tell us the findings there?
Absolutely. So what we did about just over a month ago, or it might be nearly 2 months ago, we actually found that our THC-rich cannabis oils that we got from the formulations that seemed to be working anecdotally in California had worked on the Herceptin-positive breast cancers, the HER2-positive breast cancers. So what we thought is, well, look, that's good and very promising, and we will be taking that forward. But we thought this triple-negative breast cancer, where it really lacks the ability to use Herceptin or the progesterone estrogen blockers against it, we should really try that, because that's a fairly nasty one, and your treatment options a little bit. So we tested our THC-rich oils on that and found it worked just as well on that as the other cancer lines in breast cancer. So it was a really positive result. All preclinical, so we need to do human trials beyond these results.
Yes. Now, I'm a little interested in how the commercial model here works for you, because, as I understand it, cannabis oil is not something that you're going to get a patent on or something that you're going to have control over, are you?
Yeah, look, that's a great observation, Wayne. So what we're looking at, you can actually get patents on unique formulations of cannabis, and so we've obviously put patents in on our formulations where it's got all the terpenes and all the cannabinoids. It's a fairly complex formula with the plant having over 100 cannabinoids and multiple terpenes, so we've got a unique formulation. However, the real proprietary advantage is doing the clinical trials on these formulations, making them the same way every time, and then really owning that trial data attached to that formulation. And we'll be licensing that to pharmaceutical companies and others to take forward and commercialise.
I have asked this question before with medical cannabis, and I really need to just get it in here to address a misconception that a number of our listeners have had in the past. We're not talking here about a packet of green leaves in a Ziploc bag, are we? This is not a medicine that people smoke.
No, there's no boogie bag delivery of, boogie board bag delivery of our medicine. What we have here is an oil. Yes. So it's a very well-defined extract that's made under GMP, good manufacturing practice, and made the same way every time. And really, the oil will move towards a capsule or vape in the future. And that's the way cannabis will be, medicinal cannabis will be used. And the federal governments in Canada and Australia and others really don't want people to smoke cannabis at all. It's bad to smoke anything. Yes. So what we want to do is make it just like a normal medicine.
Yes, I just wanted to get that into the transcript because I do keep getting some misconceptions about that from other people who are listening.
Indeed.
Now, Stuart, if you're at a preclinical stage, how long do you anticipate before this turns into something people can get from the doctor with a prescription that's TGA approved?
Yeah, look, with the insomnia products and eczema and that'll be on the market in the next year. But for the cancer stuff, we really, it's quite a few years of journey ahead. I'd say 2 to 3 years before it'll probably be, finalised and on the market. I don't like to, get people's hopes up too early.
Yeah.
However, there may be other solutions coming alongside as well. Chemo-induced nausea and things coming along on the market in the very near future. Not from us, but other players like Ozcan.
Very interesting. Stewart, is Zelda's role then largely as a supplier to other pharmaceutical companies rather than as a manufacturer yourself?
Absolutely. So we really we don't touch the plant or grow the plant or manufacture. We contract that out to other parties, which is Ozcan, Canopy and others in this case. And we just run the clinical trials on our formulations, prescribed formulations, and then license that package of data onto a pharmaceutical company or large biotechnology company to take that, package it, and market it.
It's very interesting to hear, and it's interesting that things are happening so quickly.
Yeah, look, it's exciting space. I think, medicinal cannabis holds some, very nice hopes. It's a very safe and effective drug in certain diseases, and that's what I like about it.
Well, it's an interesting journey. Stewart, I do thank you for your time today. Now, many of our audience are clinical. Is there a message you'd like them to get as a result of hearing you today?
Look, absolutely, 100%. What I was very negative on medicinal cannabis before I really looked at the clinical evidence and the scientific data being generated. And I just suggest that all clinicians and medicos and scientists really look eyes wide open, remain sceptical, but really have a look at this very compelling data that's coming out of ourselves and others.
Well, with a little bit of luck today, we'll help to raise some awareness in the clinical community about what's happening there.
Absolutely.
Stewart, thank you for your time. How can people get in touch if they're interested in talking to you?
Thanks, Wayne. Look, I'm happy for people to email me. My Gmail is probably the best, dr.washer@gmail.com. So drop me a email or go onto the Zelda Therapeutics website.
And that's zeldatherapeutics.com.
That's correct, yep.
If you just missed my conversation with Dr. Stewart Washer, the Executive Director of Zelda Therapeutics, the good news is we have a transcript on our website, and there's also an audio archive on SoundCloud where you can hear the interview or read it in full. My name is Wayne Bucklar, and you're listening to Health Professional Radio.